So I'm Kevin. I look after BizSmart. Caroline obviously helps me in the scenes behind us. Granger, did you want to say hi as our new franchisee?
Hi, I'm Granger Forson. So I'm the franchise owner for BizSmart in Gloucestershire. I'm 2 weeks in, and the first week of that I went on holiday, so I think I've got the right attitude.
Yeah, there we go. Sarah, do you want to say hi?
Yeah, hi everybody. Sarah Maritz. So my business is the HR department based in Worcester. So I basically provide outsourced HR advice and solutions to small and medium-sized businesses within the Worcestershire area.
Thank you, Sarah, and thanks for joining us. Andrew, do you want to say hi?
Hi, yes, hello everyone. Good to see some familiar faces. I'm Andrew Bradley, chairman of Bradley Haynes Law. We're a firm of solicitors based in Worcester. Largely we do commercial stuff, and then we've got quite a big conveyancing team as well. That's me.
Brilliant. Good stuff. Peter, I think we all know you, but do you want to say hi?
Peter Roper, family businessman, founder of the family business practice, and I'll let you know a little bit more about that in a minute on the sound of things.
Good stuff. Louise?
Hi, I think everybody bar Mike probably knows me. I'm Louise Blunt, and I'm also from BizSmart and working alongside Kevin.
Good stuff, thank you. And Mike, do you want to just introduce yourself a little bit? I'll introduce a bit more in a minute, but do you want to say hi?
Morning. It is still morning. No, it's not. It's afternoon. It just says it all, doesn't it? It had a whole morning being offensive and abusive to a client, but they appear to have enjoyed themselves, which is always good. My world is a combination of non-exec support and provoking and challenging people around having the right support network around them, which is what I'll be talking about today. The branding language is mental wealth, and that's what it's all about, which I will bring everybody into the loop, and then we can challenge and be interactive and do what we need to whilst I do my thing in a bit.
Brilliant. And yes, and we will record it and we will circulate that to the select members, if that's all right with you. So that will broaden it a little bit. What are we, 34 select members, did you say, Caroline? So they will get access to that afterwards. All right, good. Well, I won't bother. I don't think I will share the slides that we would normally share with the group. What we're about as an organization, about what BizSmart is about helping to create more scale-ups, essentially. It's all about trying to move the needle on the dials of the fact that only about 4% of businesses in this country scale up beyond 10 employees, and equally 0.7 beyond 50. So we're working with those kind of businesses primarily, those that want to, the owner managers that want to scale up, and we're helping them to do that. And a lot of that's through peer group work is how we do it, and by also then working closely with our select members, because we tend to look after the strategic aspects and the journey, that scale up journey, and the coordinating of lots of sessions. But when it then comes to specialist advice, then we like to be able to pull in then the experts or the specialists, if you like, and that's how the select member side of things works, as well as actually working then together as select members to help each other and collaborate and share best practices. So that's essentially what we're about. And every month we put on a session like this for select members. Last month we heard from one of our select members, Dr. Lizzie, as I call her, but Lizzie Bernthal. And we also heard from Nick Baxter of Baxter Williams. So you may know him. So he did a great session. And so we try and you don't know him. Never heard of him. No,
never heard of him.
No
Testosterone there.
He does like to hide his light under a bushel a bit, doesn't he? Yeah. So we had a great session last time as well. And we heard from a gentleman called Rob Stone the time before that, who founded Instaloft and basically had a kind of almost a rags to riches kind of story, which is another great one. So and the way we split the session really is have about 10 or maybe 15 minutes from select members, so Peter in a moment, and a few questions, and then we'll move on to you, Mike, if that's okay. and an opportunity then for questions afterwards and anything else that we want to pull together as a group. So Peter, we obviously all know Peter. It sounds like you know him very well as well, Mike, as the family man, and I know Peter's been very supportive of us, and very much appreciated, Peter. And yeah, thank you for stepping in today. And over to you, if I may.
All right, how long have I got?
And 10 minutes, if that's all right, maybe.
Yeah,
10, 15.
Right. Well, just a quick reminder about where we've come from, and that will probably fill in, I suppose, some of the blanks for people. So yeah, I'm known as a family businessman. I've been doing that for many, many years. I've been a consultant of my own for 26 years in February, believe it or not. And it's always been around business development. So business development for 40 odd years now. And family businesses are very different. And I think most of us in this call are a version of a family business. And by that, I mean, you may have somebody that you have a partner, a husband, a wife, or something that you talk to about your business. And my definition of a family business is that's where all family businesses start. And they can become very, very large. They can become huge, enormous. Some of the largest businesses in the world are family businesses. And something like official figures are 84% of family businesses. So business in this country are actually family-based businesses. In fact, in Germany, the Mittelstand, as it's known, it's over 90%. And they grow into businesses like VW, which is still a family business, believe it or not. So family businesses think, act and do differently. We don't think like corporate. We don't think like non-for-profit sector. We have our own unique set of circumstances. And so therefore, when family businesses expand, move, create, what have you, they're driven by very different circumstances. We've had 6 family businesses of our own. We're down to 2 now these days. My experience is born as much out of that as it is with dealing with literally hundreds of family businesses over the years, in probably into thousands now, I guess. So that's where I am with family businesses. We are coming up to a birthday. 8 years ago in November, I had this bonkers idea of getting a few people together to share best practice, knowledge, information, and education. And I did it because I was fed up with the fact I didn't believe, certainly regionally in the West and East Midlands, there was an organisation that actually did that. There are pockets of places which did it, but certainly not around our own area. And I thought, you know what, why don't we just get a few people together? And I was on one. I invited 35 people along to a hotel room and said, why don't we do and get together and share best practice, knowledge and information, education, etc., and develop businesses. And they all said, Peter, if you want to do it, we'll support you. I'm driving home with my wife, Annie, and she said, what have you done this time? And I said, I think I've started a membership organisation. And that's how the family business practice started. And then, all members know that. That's the story. And I went back to everybody the following month and said, tell me what you want and what you don't want. And they said, we want business development. We want to be relaxed. We don't want it like a networking organisation. We don't want the single seat policies, must turn up stuff. We want to learn from each other. And of course, we'll network and we want to be in a relaxed environment. Oh, by the way, we also want to be in a 4-star hotel with nice grub and free car parking. Hence why Stone Manor, just the same as Kevin did with Bismarck. And that's how things went and expanded through word of mouth until just before lockdown, we were at 150 members. And then we all know what happened. And we changed the practice and we made it a purely online business for the next 20 months. And we've put together, it'll be 150 Zoom events by the end of this year. We're well over 100 now. Where our members have got the opportunity to present, and we've got different things. We've got masterclasses, we've got training workshops, we've got connect sessions, we've got upbeat check-in sessions. A couple of you at least have been on those, I know. And the whole idea is to give as much value as possible. I have a bee in my bonnet that sessions shouldn't be longer than 72 minutes. So all of them are just short, sharp, punchy and upbeat. No whinging, that's not our style. But they're relaxed. They're formally informal, if that makes sense. So we're structured, but it's good fun. So that's really where we're about. And in that time, we've grown to 180 odd. As it sits right now, and I guess just as with you, Kevin, you're in the quandary of, what is now happening. We were all expected to happen, which is, oh gosh, we can go face to face. So everybody's running off to any face-to-face event that at all around, which I don't blame anybody for. I think a lot of people are feeling a lot more relaxed about things. I'm actually going for my booster jab in about 2 hours time, and Annie is too, which is good. But even so, I think we're still in a challenging situation. I think some people are forgetting that. However, that's their choice, and that's fine. And I think where we will get to in the new year is we will run a handful of face-to-face events. I know, as a family business, we're very well known for running events, but predominantly the practice will always stay Zoom based because it's convenient, it's simple, it's straight to the point. I'm going to get into a car, I'm having to spend money on petrol at bonkers prices, and that's what nearly all our members certainly want. But we will have some sort of escape valve. The first one of those, in fact, is next month, which is at Borwell's, where again a few people together there, and we're looking at putting some small groups together of kindred spirits in terms of types of business, but most of it will be online because that's our model and we're sticking with it. We believe in it, and that's what we're really about. So if you can help us, it's always come and attend as a guest. You're welcome to come along as a guest. We love guests. Those Zoom events, by the way, are all free, so we're not charging for them. And if you want to become part of the practice, it really isn't an awful lot of money, frankly. And so people join the practice because they see value, they see kindred spirits, they see that they like the style of what we do. It's not for everybody, and that's fine. And that's really what the family business is about. But it's born out of 3 principles, and the 3 principles are, and they're my principles when working with family businesses, which are to fill the fridge, to sleep at night, and to work with people you know, like, and trust. And over the last 20 months, there are an awful lot of people whose fridges have not been too clever. And if they're not too clever, then you don't sleep too well. And if you don't sleep too well, you have a habit of working with people that perhaps ordinarily you might consider not to work with. So a lot of the stuff we do in the family business practice is all around that, and making good decisions, wise business decisions, etc. And there's a whole group of people who are micro businesses who will slowly but surely expand and get to a point where they get into the point where really Bismarck tends to get involved, where Kevin and the team that are here and perhaps listening to this video get involved as they literally scale up. But I think the important thing as they scale up is they don't forget their family roots, because if they try and corporatize, that's where it goes wrong. They have to recognize and embrace their family roots, because that's how it takes those businesses forward, but with structure that you need for scaling. So a lot of our family businesses look at all these things in different ways, and that's why they have been so excited about the events we've run this year. They've all been how-to events. What's the figure? I think it's 67% of all requests on YouTube last year were for how-to videos. Now, I know some of them were, how do you put a blind up? How do you get rid of moles in your garden? Or was that just me? And you'll never get rid of moles, the Jasper joke with that. Anyway, the point is we need knowledge, we need information, we need education, and that's why all the sessions that we run are all how-to based. It's all 72 minutes you learn from something. So that's really what the practice is about. I don't want to bang on about it. I don't want to outstay my welcome, Kevin. The practice is here. It supports people well. We're coming up to our 8th year, so we must be doing something reasonably well. I think we've transitioned very well. A lot of people have told us that's the case. We've just linked with the Manufacturing and Training Group, TMG. We had our first event today, which was a test event, effectively. And I just came off that Zoom call an hour ago. They have 150 manufacturers across the West Midlands, and next year we'll be working a lot closer together to help support those manufacturers, and then obviously to hopefully link in with the practice more. So we're looking at ways of expanding, and likewise now the practice has, through osmosis, grown not just from the Midlands. Now we've got people, Granger, even farther down the motorway than you. Believe it or not, there you go. So we'll go down to Bristol and down to past there and Reading and across, and then up, up to Manchester and stuff. But the majority of us is Midlands based, and I think that's where we'll always be. Although we do have somebody in Norway, just as a complete.
Norway.
Yes, Norway. I always say the West Midlands and the England and Norway, which is always good. And we're always looking for people that want to be part of us that can provide real good value, and that's what the family business practice is about. So hopefully that will give an idea what we're around. If you want to know more, just give me a shout. You find me very easily. and hopefully that was useful.
Fantastic, thank you, Peter. Yes, they are great events, and I would certainly encourage anyone that hasn't been to go along. So let's see. Any questions for Peter, Sarah? Anything that you'd like to know from Peter?
No, I don't think so. I've heard obviously about the Family Business Practice Forum. I haven't attended one of your events, Peter, so maybe that's something that I look to do in the forthcoming future.
You're welcome. Yeah, just go on the website, book yourself in, and let me know that you're in. So we'll make sure you have a nice welcome.
Will do. Thank you.
Same for even Mike Pagan. Even Mike Pagan is, it could come to one of those events, maybe.
To be fair, Peter does run a family business, and there are people in his business that are far better and more efficient than he is.
Absolutely true. 100% true. Yes, it is true that the family do run the Professional Speaker Association, 650 speakers, all the back end operation, all the rest of it, headed by my older daughter Sarah Beth, but actually my younger daughter's also in it. Sarah, my daughter-in-law in America is in it. Annie works part-time in it, although she's allegedly retired, but of course it's a family business. So they and a group of professionals they also look after as well. So that's the quiet side.
Keeps you grounded though.
Brilliant.
Something like that, yeah.
Andrew, anything you'd like to ask Peter?
I mean, I know Peter very well, obviously, and know the organisation. I suppose the one thing that struck me was your move to online and your confidence in staying online, Peter. I think has that been a big decision to wrestle with? Because I know a lot of the other maybe some of the breakfast events and things like that are now being quite aggressive on trying to force people back into online meetings, which isn't being received all that well, really. So I'd be interested to get your point of view on it and whether you'll keep going with just the online thing, and is that where you see the future on networking?
I really do. I've spent 25 years going to networking events and having breakfasts and lunches that I didn't really want and all that went with it, really. I think networking groups have got their place. They've got their business model. Their business model relies on everybody turning up on a regular basis with single seat policies and all the rest of it. That's anathema to the family business practice. Our whole idea is you come when you can, you come because you want to, you turn up when you want to. So it is very, very opposite, which is why we say we're friends with all networking groups, because we don't believe we compete with them. We never have done. The only thing we do compete for is time. Actually, time is always the most precious thing, I absolutely, we know full well at the minute the genie's out the bottle, so everybody's desperate to go and meet each other at the minute, and we totally understand it. But as I was talking to somebody only yesterday, and I know some of you will know this person, who has last week and this week started to go to networking events again, etc., and they've already looked at their pocket and said, I can't believe what I've just spent. Secondly, they've also looked at their diary and said, my model converted in the last 20 months to an online model. In other words, Zoom-based, Teams-based, whichever, or whichever. And he said, I've just had a morning where I've got into town, parked a car, paid for a car, put some fuel in it, bought a cup of tea, etc., etc. Come back, I've lost a morning. Whereas normally it would have been a half-an-hour phone call, Zoom call. And I think that's the point, and that's why I think it's hybrid. I think if you really want the closeness of a networking group, meeting the same people over and over again, and it suits your business to do so, then you should, right? But I think for an awful lot of people, I think there's a better way, and I think the way that BizSmart do it and practice do it. I think we're doing the as I said, the cork out the bottle, really, Andrew, in that we're going to run a few events face to face so people can meet up. But I've already listened to a lot of our members who have said, yeah, but we don't want to do that a lot. Yeah, we want to do it a bit, but we don't want to do it a lot.
It's definitely caused us a few problems over the last couple of weeks, just with more junior staff members who have tried to encourage to go and do breakfast and to build their network and build their confidence, but they're just not able to commute to the sorts of places the meetings are at, and they've taken it on for sort of a year, and now there's quite an aggressive approach of you must come, and I'm not able to put other people in here. So then you sort of you come across as if you're sort of disrespecting the group and not committing. So it's quite awkward, really, the transition back to it. And some of my team just don't want to go back to that environment. So, that's just what it is. So, but their point of view doesn't seem to be getting very well respected at the moment. There we go.
It doesn't fit the business model, does it? That's the point. I think a number of networking groups were dragged kicking and screaming into the new environment, and they're very excited to go back to the old environment. Personally, I think it's so much easier to have conversations with people in a Zoom environment. I really do. But let's meet up occasionally. When the need arises, then absolutely fantastic. You find out that somebody's, as I did a couple of weeks ago, find out they were 6 foot. They're literally 6'8", and I'm going, I'm 6 foot, but you're like a giraffe and stuff like, and that's great fun. But you don't need to do that every week. I don't believe so. But Andrew, if you want to send your people across the business, you're welcome. You know that.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Yeah.
And I guess, Sarah, you must be seeing those problems with just within businesses of getting the staff back that have been used to being working remotely for the last 18 months or so. You must see a lot of that, don't you?
Yeah, there's quite a lot of resistance. Funnily enough, it's kind of gone 360 degrees because people didn't like working from home initially in the first lockdown. And now people really don't want to come back to the office. You've got some that will, but I'm finding pretty much every business that I support is now looking at hybrid models, so that there's part working from home, part being in the office. But I think the biggest challenge for people is recruitment. I've got so many clients that are trying to recruit and they just can't find people. And personally, I think that's because people just want a little bit of stability. I don't think, and security. I don't think they feel comfortable if they're in a job at the minute looking to move. But I also think where organisations have put hybrid working in place, they're enjoying that more. So they're perhaps not as unhappy in the workplace as they were previously because they've got that sort of work-life balance going on a bit better. So that's one of the biggest challenges for my clients, is finding good people at the minute, because people just aren't moving about.
Yeah, we're seeing that across clients. Just ran a peer group with accountants this morning, and they were all saying what a struggle it is to find people at the moment. But it's across every sector.
All sectors,
Gave the example.
Yeah.
Pardon?
All sectors, yeah, very much. Yeah,
I gave the example this morning. One of our clients actually. He's an IT service provider. Last year he recruited a digital marketing apprentice, tried to do the same again this year. Same ad, same everything. Last year he got 200 applicants. This year he got 20. So it's a pretty stark illustration of the numbers. Any other questions for Peter before we move on?
Not a question, but you sparked a memory in me, Peter, about moles. And I actually have a video, which I suddenly remembered, of my father, who was passionate about getting rid of moles by pouring petrol down the tunnels, and then he lights them. And I got a video of him almost burning his eyebrows off. So maybe I can put that on YouTube as how not to get rid of moles.
We have a very small garden, and last year there was a point where I had 37 molehills, which is just ridiculous. I mean, it's a postage stamp, 37 molehills. And Jasper Carrot is right. There's only one way to get rid of a mole.
Yeah, they had. He spent 6 months levelling his front garden. He had a house in France a number of years ago, and he spent 6 months levelling the garden. And he came back to the UK for 2 months, and when he got back, it was all bumpy.
Yeah,
so he had a war on moles.
The French just blow them up, don't they? They're renowned for it. That's the way they do it, isn't it? But yes, we had this joke that if Alan Titchmarsh appeared with all his people and did all the garden, it'd be fantastic. And then a week later, the moles would be back and trash it.
Yeah. So there we go. Who thought that would move to a discussion on moles? But